Yo, what is up guys, MattWic here. We are back, NHL 25, a realistic rebuild of the Calgary Flames here in year 3. And I mean, this year's a bit of a question mark. I'll show you guys the lines real quick. We're about to start the season sim. We're about to do the coaching assignment to see what we want our team to work on. But this is what the lines are looking like here for year 3. So we still have Jonathan Huberdeau on that top line. This is really going to be his last chance in this organization. I mean, I say last chance, but I mean last chance to, like, you know, play top minutes before we just start burying him on the like 3rd or 4th line if he can't really produce. He has the best possible chance so far right now. He's never really put up big numbers. He's been one of our worst players besides last year where he was a +10. But he has a great chance to put up big numbers this year on this first line. We have Yegor Sharangovich there as a two-way forward. Jonathan Huberdeau is listed as a playmaker. And Tyler Hood, our very new 2nd overall draft pick, who's going to be making his NHL debut this year, is a sniper. So we expect him to put up a lot of goals on that first line. He played for Ass there for a couple years, or for 1 year. Didn't really do a whole lot, but that is playing against men. Second line, I think it looks very nice. Connor Zary, Nazem Kadri, who's been a huge point producer for us so far in this series, and Capo Caco, who actually grew to an 86 overall, so he warranted getting some extra minutes. He's a guy we've kind of had on that 3rd and 4th line for a couple years now, and you know, his stats look really good, and I just really want to give him the best possible chance to be a stud in this league. We got Matt Coronado, who kind of let us down a little bit last year for what we were expecting after that first season. 27 points in 31 games, looked great. Last season, a little bit of a lull. We would have liked to see him get at least the 20-goal mark, but he wasn't able to get there. But we'll see what he can do this year. We have the man, the myth, the legend, Anders Lee, who was a free agent. I decided to grab him for our 3rd line because some of our rookies aren't ready yet. If you will remember, he won the very first Stanley Cup in this sim and the Conn Smythe Trophy, so hopefully his leadership can get us into a playoff spot. I think he's a very solid 3rd liner. Jacob Peltier, Danton Heinen's always had a soft spot in my heart when he was with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Never felt he got a good shake, so we have him here on the 4th line to kind of anchor that line down with Blake Coleman and Martin Popsel there as well to round it out. I think it's a solid forward group. I definitely think it's a team that could contend for a playoff spot this year, but we'll see. We do have a lot of question marks in terms of, is Hood going to be able to contribute enough goals, or at least what we're expecting? Kako, how's he going to play this year? Coronado, are we going to have a year like the first or a year like last year? So it's going to be a big question mark. And then Jonathan Huberdeau, can he return to any former glory that he might be able to find in the tank there? Defensively, though, it is a big shakeup as to what it was last year. We got Thomas Harley and Mackenzie Weegar still there on that first pairing, and then we have a very nice pairing here that I'm a big fan of, Kevin Ball and Topi Niemela. I'm probably saying that wrong. I saw the Matthew Tkachuk video today with him in Finland with Barkov, and he says names and pronounces things in Finnish about as well as I do, so that made me feel good. But Kevin Ball, 6'6", 230-pound defensive defenseman, playing with Topi Niemela, a 6-foot right D offensive defenseman who has some decent stats there, good skating, good defensive awareness, and good offensive awareness for a offensive defenseman, which is nice to see. So we'll see. Hopefully he can put up some big points. We'd have him on the top power play unit, and we have Brustowicz here, who has developed nicely so far, 83 overall, and then Zane Parik. I gotta look up how to say that name to make sure I'm saying it right, because he is going to be a stud in our organization for a long time. Right D, left D, 20 years of age, medium elite, insane puck skills right now, a great shot. So we do have him right now just to start out the first year. We have him on the 2nd power play. We'll see how he does, and then we'll decide if we want to move him up or not. And then in goal, same as last year, Dustin Wolf and Arvid Soderblom. Our boy Gabriel Daig, who a commenter informed me that that's how the name is pronounced. I went and watched some videos, and he is correct. Now, the French one, they were like Degle, so it's still, I guess, up for a little bit of interpretation, but the one that I saw in English did pronounce it Daig, so that's what we're going to go with from now on, which is nice because I have him in a lot of my series, and it would be pretty annoying to hear it mispronounced all those times. Israel Cahill, rounding that out there just as another goaltending prospect. We do also have Ivanovic, but I believe he's still in the CHL. Fred Connor was someone who people wanted to maybe see get a shot in the NHL, but just because we already have, what is it, 4? Yeah, we have Zari, Kako, Coronado, and Hood. We already have 4 young wingers up in the NHL. We don't really have a spot for them right now. I know we could move Peltier down to that 4th line role and take out Danton Heinen and then just slot everybody down, which is still a possibility. Maybe once the season goes on, if we are just at a loss, we'll call him up, give him 10 games, see what he does. Maybe it'll help his development. Maybe it won't. We will see. Even maybe a guy like Huberdeau, we bump down to the 4th line if he's not producing and then move some guys around, so it's always an option there. But one of the things I'm looking for big time for next year is Honzik and Barlow being ready for the NHL. So they only have 3 overall till they're 80, and then Andersley and Blake Coleman are on the last year of their deals, so hopefully those 2 guys can just slot up there. This is just these 2 guys really just to give us the best chance to win this year, just to see if anything can happen. Worst comes to worst, we can look to trade both of them at the trade deadline, pick up some extra picks, and go from there. But our team in the AHL is extremely young right now. I had a tough time finding spots for a lot of the guys that we had drafted. So we will see what happens there. Pay attention to who's scoring and who's not scoring and go from there. Poirier is a guy I want to try to get in the NHL at some point. So we'll see how Ball does and how he performs. He's done decently over the last couple of years, but Poirier is definitely a guy I want to look to get in the lineup. We have Charlie Marks here, who was a 3rd-round pick last year, who only 65 overall, I know, but offensive defenseman in the 3rd round, decent puck skills already, decent offensive awareness. I want to get him developed medium elite, so quickly, please. But let's go ahead, sim up to our coaching focus and decide what we want to focus on for this year. All right, Saul Livingston, our head coach, is Colin. Let's see what he wants to talk about. I'm interested to see what he is going to set for our season goal. So does he think this is a playoff team? Some kinks to work out, but this is a good enough team to complete for a playoff spot. Ooh, okay. We could say make the final or no expectations. You know what? I'll say I agree. This is what I thought before. He agrees with me, so we are aligned. Let's go ahead, agree. And then preseason focus. Now, this is going to be a big one. I don't think I need to do the 5v5 focus just because looking around at our offensive and defensive awarenesses, I feel like it's good enough. Now, I always want to do power play, but I just feel like the loss to defensive awareness is so great that it scares me away every time. Same thing with penalty kill. The loss to the offensive awareness really doesn't do it for me. Team bonding would be a nice one. I have had some luck with that before, specifically in our last draft class with the 2025 draft class. That's what I did at the beginning of the year. And hey, it worked out pretty well. Actually, no, I don't think I did. That was a different one. That was with the Draft Kings. Yes. And then we did the goaltending last year. I want to do the goaltending next year once Daig comes up and we have Wolf and Daig in the NHL. So we're going to hold off on that for now. We could do strength training. I don't mind that, honestly. I do like a big, tough team. And we also have acceleration speed. That's not bad either. I think I'm going to go with one of these 2. Let's go. Let me see. Let me think about it. I feel like we do have a pretty young team defensively, which means they're pretty soft. So let's toughen them up. Let's get some strength and physicality in there, and we'll see where that takes us. So let me go look at like Zane and Brustowicz and see what their stuff is, and then we'll take a look and see what their adjustment to that was. Let's see. We're already getting off for a trade. Dan Vladar and a 6th. They want to send them back to us. No, thank you. We'll keep our picks. Thank you very much. Tarasov. So I guess we must have goalie on the trade block. So I got to go take that off so the simulation doesn't take a million years. But let's take a look at some of our young defensemen. Even Hood, too. Let's take a look and see. So he's already up to an 83, which is pretty cool. Huberdeau's up to an 87. I don't think any of that stuff has kicked in yet, or at least it shouldn't have. So physicals, man, he actually is pretty good for a 5'11", 173, 19-year-old sniper. He's got 84 aggressiveness and 80 strength. Like I said, I don't think it should have kicked in just yet. Let's take a look at Zane's here. Yeah, he's at a 79 strength, 81 aggressiveness, 79 body checking. Wow, Brustowicz 93 strength. Holy shit! So these rosters, this Vasi made these ones. He bumped these guys up a lot. So we'll take a look at Namella too. But let's go ahead, get to the start of the season. Harley up to a 90. Let's go. Goaltenders, let's just check them real quick. 87, 81. Ooh, so I don't know what changed, but something for the better. Let's get to the beginning of the season. Take a look at how our roster looks after that. Alright, so I don't know if this is a bad omen or a good omen because it's preseason, but we lost every single preseason game. Did not score a lot of goals at all, which is very concerning because that, as I said earlier, that was my biggest concern with this team is are the goal scorers going to be able to score enough goals? Preseason didn't go so well, so hopefully the season goes a little bit differently. Maybe we win our first 10 straight. But let's take a look at the team and see how they were impacted. Do we have any guys who have grown any more? Huberdeau's back down to an 85. Sharangovich up to a 91. Kako up to an 88. Jesus Christ, 95 strength on that boy, so he is going to be tough to knock off the puck. Anders Lee and Blake Coleman, 84. Let me see these two guys. Let me compare them. I'm going to leave Lee up there for now, but it's nice to know that we can swap them around at will, pretty much. Defensively, Namella, an 85. He's up to a 79. Body checking, 76. Ball's absolutely insane. He's a big body. Hopefully keeps everybody safe out there. All right, Zane's did go up, so that's good to see. He's now got a pretty solid physical category there, and we can focus on other things with him, particularly probably on the... I mean, I'd probably focus on his shot, to be honest. Either that or his skating. Defensively, he's good enough. We're not really expecting him to be a shutdown D-man. Plus, he's got Brustowicz there, who's got 98 strength now. Jesus Christ. Surprised that his slap shot power isn't higher with that those biceps that he's rocking there at only 21 years of age. Wish our goaltenders had some bigger muscles, too, and had a strength feature. that'd be pretty funny to see their strength. Probably some of the lowest in the league. Who do we have scratched as well? Hunt. Okay, so we can rotate him in the lineup if we need to with Heinen and Popsol there. But, guys, let's start simming. Hopefully... it goes better than the start of the preseason did. So let me get a couple months in and I'll bring you guys back to let you know how we're doing. All right, guys. So here we are 3 months into the season and it has not been going well. 15, 20, and 3, worst in the Pacific. Now we are only 13 points out of the top spot. So if this team does go on a run, it could be something special. But my worries, they're pretty true. If you look at that, 27th goals for per game, and just like I thought, you know, it's going to be tough to find goals. We did do some major line shakeups throughout the year just because things were rough at the beginning. I think we started 0-7 for the season, so for us to even resurrect it a little bit is huge. You might notice one big thing. I did take Huberdeau out of the lineup. He did not get traded, but we are going to ask him if he's willing to waive his no-move clause to see if we can move on from him. It would definitely open up the door for some cap space for us to sign some players possibly in the offseason, which is something we really haven't done yet. Tyler Hood, we did slot him down to the third line because he was struggling on that top line. Only 10 goals, 10 assists right now. We did bump him down to, well, he's still on the first power play. But yeah, just being down third line, we felt maybe, I mean, I felt maybe just to, he just was struggling a little bit too much up there. It just was not going well. I think it was a -15 in the first, like, month and a half of the season. So we definitely got him out of there. Moved Kako up to the top unit, although he hasn't really been doing too well. Kadri's still having a great season regardless of who his line mates really are. Coronado was doing really well, so we bumped him up to that top unit. Zari, little question mark right there. Yegor Sharangovich playing decent. We might look, or I might look to move him and Kadri up to that same line and slot Kako down, and then maybe have Zari play center on that one. Martin Popsol's actually been a nice little piece of this season. He did slow down his production since being moved up, but he was playing on the fourth line on second power play, and he had like 9 goals through 20-some games, which was sadly top of our team almost. Anders Lee not doing terribly down there like we already showed Tyler Hood. Fourth line's been decent. That's the only line that's really been doing anything. Let's take a look at the defense here. Thomas Harley back down to an 89, but he's a +4, 17 points on the year. Uyghur with 6 goals, 6 assists. But then other than that, the defense has been pretty abysmal. Kevin Ball actually is resurrecting a little bit, but Namella just, he got as bad as I think -18 at one point. So it's, I mean, at least he's doing a little bit better, but we did reduce his ice time. I saw he was playing like 21 minutes a game. Just too much for him at this point right now. Took him off the top power play unit, moved Harley and Uyghur up there instead. And obviously they've been playing a lot better. And let's take a look real quick at the AHL squad because they have been doing pretty good. Fred Connor's up to a 75, 15 goals so far on the season. So what I think is now that the season is pretty much gone, I think after the trade deadline, we will call him up, give him a 10-game stint, just see how he does for a little bit, then send him back down. We don't want to make him ineligible for any Calder hopes because we need some trophies in this team. But I mean, if you look at our AHL team, I mean, there are pluses, but it's still, we're not getting a ton of goals from really anybody besides Fred Connor, which is nice that we at least have somebody doing it. But I mean, the goal marks really aren't there. Charlie Marks has been a nice little surprise down there as a plus player. I was definitely thinking he was going to be a minus. Daigle's up to an 81. Ooh, I actually didn't know this. So maybe we call him up to the NHL this year and move on from Soderblom. That's definitely something we'll take a look at there, because how's our goalies looking? 87, 81. Soderblom has no protection, so we can get rid of him pretty easily. That's definitely something we'll look at doing. Let me get a couple months more in, and we'll see if we make those moves. But let's go real quick to here, Jonathan Huberdeau, and let's just see. Let's just ask him. Hey, Claus, let's chat about it. Would you like to waive your clause so we can trade you? You're a fucking bitch, Jonathan Huberdeau. You're happy being scratched? You see a future here? I don't see a future here. You're trash, buddy. You're never going to be anything here. All right, whatever, man. Whatever. Stay scratched, brother. Oh, jeez. All right, let's get a couple more months in and then see what we want to do, where this team's at, and what our future holds. All right, guys, so here we are sitting before the trade deadline. As you see, things really haven't gotten any better with this team. 26, 30, and 8 right now. We are only 8 points out of a playoff spot, so it's like the season still could be salvaged, but I'm not going to go trade capital away to try to add to this team that I don't think would win a first-round matchup against whoever we would play against. So let me get into the trades. Let me see. We're going to definitely move on from Soderblom, or just find something. Maybe just do like a 7 for 7 with him in their swap, just to get him out of the system. Maybe see if we can even send him down to the AHL. That I mean, runs the risk of him getting claimed and us really getting nothing, but we really get nothing if we trade him. So let me go see how much trade value he has. Same thing with Anders Lee, Blake Coleman. We're going to call up a lot of our rookies, let them finish out the season. Maybe we can get a spark from them. We're also going to give Fred Connor a little bit of a run, so we'll check in and see how he does, but let me try to make some trades for right now. Gonna try to move on from Blake Coleman here, adding a 6th round pick to the deal for the 3rd round pick, the original owners of the Chicago Blackhawks, to the Boston Bruins, who only have 29 contracts on their cap right now. So that's a little interesting. They're probably in some cap hell, but let's see. Will this trade go through? Looks like it's a little bit more on our side, but that is fine. Looks like we're going to have to make some moves. Called up Cahill, which doesn't make really any sense because he's a goaltender. We'll do other moves if we have to, but let's go ahead and make this trade for right now. We are retaining 50% so we can stay above the salary cap, which is going to be a bit of a problem. So let's go. See ya, Blake Coleman. Thank you for the 3rd. Trade accepted. Awesome. And then let me go ahead and make these line moves and see what we can mix up with this team. All right, guys. So unfortunately, that's probably going to be the only move that we're really able to make right now. Let me just check Capo Caco. How many years does he have left? He only has 1 year left. I think I'm going to move on from him. Only 5 goals, 20 assists so far this season. Not a massive contract. We're going to move on from him, and then what we're going to do is we are going to add the man, the myth, the legend, Fred Connor, to the lineup to see what he can get done. He's got only 22 goals right now in the AHL. He was playing top line, top power play, so a little disappointing he's not hitting those big numbers anymore. You also see we have Topi Namela scratched. 48 games, a goal and 10 assists playing. He was playing top power play and then second line power play. And a -14, so just absolutely horrible from him right now. So we'll see. We're not going to give up on him just yet. Let's see how Poirier's been doing in there. Yeah, 16 games, 5 assists, even on the plus-minus. And I would say so far this season, the biggest surprise on the team, Martin Popsel. 18 goals, 15 assists, plus 17. This guy sits by the bench well on defense, and if a goal is about to be scored or if someone takes a shot on net, he jumps off the ice as fast as he can. That's the only thing I can think that is what's causing this. But we're gonna toss him on that top line just to see kind of you know, does that go down, because Sharon Govich is a -13 and Kadri's a -19. So we'll see. Maybe Popsel can help him out, or maybe it's just gonna make these guys go way lower. But let's go ahead. Let's get Fred Connor in there. I'm gonna sub him in for Huberdeau. And then we're going to move him up to the 2nd line just because Coronado, only 12 goals so far, so disappointing year for him right now. So let's go ahead. Fred Connor, giving him a chance. We also have Samuel Honzik up for his first minutes in the NHL. So let's go ahead. Let me see if I can make a move for Capo Caco, see how much trade value his has, and then let's get into these first 10 games for these 2 new players and see what they can put up. All right, so Capo Caco actually has some pretty decent trade value. So we're going to see if we can move him to the LA Kings for a first and a third. Now, the third might be asking a little bit too much. So if it doesn't go through, we'll take that off. Maybe just see if we can get like a sixth or a seventh for next year. But the Kings are a team right now. They're on the fringe. Maybe they're thinking, hey, we can turn him around, Capo Caco. He shows the skills. He shows the intangibles that we want on our team. He does seem like a very LA Kings player right now. Very good defensively. Doesn't put up a lot of points. Just actually talking out of my ass there. So LA Kings fans, don't take offense to that. So first and a third for Capo Caco, only making $1 million. 1 year left on his deal. Will it go through? We're not going to re-sign him, so see you later. Trade rejected. All right, let's try to take off that third. I'd be very happy if we get the first, but let's go ahead just to see. Let's just toss in a sixth for next year and see if that is going to be enough to get the trade done. And it actually is. So we pick up a first round pick this year, which is huge because if the Kings miss the playoffs, that turns into a lottery pick and we have a chance to get another top 10 pick because we have our own. And now we have the Kings. So let's see. We'll go ahead and make the more line changes, get into the first 10 games with Connor and Hanzik, see how they do. Let's go, boys. 10 games in. Let's see how they did. You might already be able to tell. Fred Connor has impressed me a little bit. I moved him up to the first line just because I want to see. So I'll show you real quick. So Tyler Hood, he's putting up goals. 26 goals, only 14 assists, minus 23 though for his rookie season. Little disappointing, but I'm not terribly upset with it. It's fine. It's fine. Hanzik right now through 10 games, only 1 assist, minus 3, but only playing 11 minutes a night. So I'm not terribly upset about that. You know, only minus 3 isn't too bad for how the rest of the team has been playing. Fred Connor, the one that I know you're probably wondering the most about, 3 goals, 3 assists through 10 games with minus 4, playing 15 minutes a night. So I'm going to move him up to the first line here. I moved Hood down just for this reason. You know what? Actually, I'm going to put Hood up. Minus 1. No, we're not gonna do that. So we're gonna leave Kadri up as well, just because he's still having a pretty solid season. 40 assists. So let's put 2 snipers on his line, and let's go another 5 games and see what it is. We're not in a playoff spot still, obviously. Goals for per game, 29th in the league. Terrible. Pretty much every category, but I mean, that's to be expected with us being where we are. We're not in the basement. We do have the tiebreaker, I guess, against the Kraken, which, I mean, take that for what it's worth. We are looking like a top 5, top 6 pick, top 7 pick maybe right now. I see the Senators there and Sabres with 69 points as well. Nice. But let's go ahead. Let's go 5 more games in, see what we're working with. Playoffs are pretty much out of the question. We have to win out and probably hope that the Kings don't win another game, really, for us to even be able to squeak in. So that's pretty much, like I said, out of the question. But let's go 5 more games, see how the boys do, and then we'll see. We'll probably send Fred Connor back down just because I don't want to mess anything up with his contract or with his rookie status. Or maybe not. Maybe I don't give a shit. Let's see what happens. Real quick, I just wanted to check because I was like, oh, we brought Dag up and sent Soderblom down. I want to see how he's doing. 2 games, 6 goals against. I mean, he's listed as a backup goalie. I mean, the Wolf's not having a great season. I mean, 905 save percentage, not terrible comparatively to how bad the team has been. But Soderblom had 1 win in 16 games. He's 1 for 16. Wolf, I mean, 29. Let's see, what's his 29, 26, and 6. I mean, not terrible. I mean, maybe if we didn't have Soderblom lose every single game pretty much that he started. I just don't know why. Like, is the team playing this bad in front of our backups that they just don't? Maybe they really like Wolf and hate every other goalie that tries to be brought up. So I don't know. But like I said, let's get the 5 more games in real quick. I just had to show you guys that because that blew my mind. So here we are at the end of the season, and this is I mean, I guess you could say it's a disappointment based off of what our coach thought we could be. He thought we could be a playoff team, but we are not. Maybe that's an indictment on him, not so much me, because like I said, I did have concerns about the amount of goals this team can score. And so we did lose almost out. We did beat the Kings in overtime there, which I don't think they didn't make the playoffs, so very good for us to get that first overall pick. Capo Caco was a hot mess for them, probably. But winning that game kind of screwed us, because if you look at that 76, 77 points, look at that. 3 teams there with 77. 10 teams finished worse than us. I mean, we're tied in those 3 spots. I don't know who has the tiebreaker. We could be the worst of those teams, but it's definitely going to be interesting to see where we land for the draft lottery, which we'll do in this episode, so stick around for that. But after those 5 games, I did 5 more. Fred Connor didn't put up any extra points on the first line, so I did take him off of the first line, moved him to the third line, just so like he could still stay up, because I mean we don't have really anybody else that we'd want to call up at this time. Tyler Hood's rookie season, 28 goals, which is nice, minus 25, which is disappointing. Nazem Kadri, decent season, 69 points, nice, but a big drop off from the last couple of years that he has had, so we'll see, monitor his overall and see what he turns out to be. Sharon Govich, decent season, 65 points, but again, like I said, just nobody putting up those big goal totals that we hoped for. We hoped it was going to be Tyler Hood, but 28 goals, nice, like I said, for a 19-year-old, only going to get better, hopefully, but not what we were really expecting. We were hoping for more than that. Martin Popsel, big shock this season, 21 goals, 19 assists, playing all over the lineup throughout the entire year, plus 15, so he stuck around at that point. His deal is up at the end of the year, I think, because of the good season that he had, and he's a good Slovak boy. I think we're going to keep him around, and then just, I mean, use him just as a utility player all over the ice, because if he can be a plus 15 with this roster, incredible. Hanzik, let's take a look how he did. 18 games, only 2 assists, so a little disappointing there. But it's good that we got his feet wet here in the NHL, so he got to experience losing, I guess. Coronado, very disappointing season for him, only 13 goals. He's another one, though, got moved all over the lineup, but, I mean, Popsel didn't have that issue, and we started Coronado out on the top, and he still struggled, didn't play well, couldn't really find a gel with any of the other line mates. Fred Connor, how'd he do in 18 games? 4 goals, 4 assists, minus 5, playing 16 minutes a night. Not terrible, you know, he's only a 75 overall, so hopefully getting this experience does grow him as a player. Anders Lee, the captain, the hero, 12 goals, 19 assists, plus 5 on that fourth line. Played a lot of third line minutes as well. He's not our captain, I'm just saying. He's a leader in the locker room. Defensively, let's take a look. Thomas Harley, a solid season, not what we're used to seeing him point up for sure. I think I did make a mistake as well at the beginning of the season, not focusing on the 5v5 and doing the strength instead, because I think it did influence our season and set us back a little bit. Poirier, very nice call-up, 79 overall, 24 years of age, plus 3 down there. Zane here, I'm just going to call him Zane until I look up his actual, how to pronounce his name. 8 goals, 17 assists in his rookie campaign, so not really what we'd hope from him. We'd hope he'd get more assists with those high puck skills that he does have, but I mean, he's playing with bombs right now, so can't really blame him too much. Dustin Wolf, 2 shutouts, 3 years left on a $5 million deal. I don't really have any problems with him. I mean, the team wasn't good in front of him, so it's not really his fault. He didn't play terrible. Daigle, Dag, 864 save percentage. Yikes. He played another game, apparently, because he played 3 games. He did win that game, but he only made 7 saves, I think. So he had 63 saves whenever he had 2 games played. Then he played another game, got a win, only made 7 saves. Interesting. I don't know. 5 goals against average, so hopefully his confidence isn't in the gutter. But let's go ahead. Let's sim up, see who wins the Stanley Cup in this Stanley Cup playoffs in this video, and then we will see. Let's see the playoff tree once it is set, and then we'll get to the draft lottery as well, because that could be an interesting spot for us there. So Eastern Conference, any surprises? Columbus, I guess, being there is a bit of a surprise. Other than that, not really. Pretty much the teams you would expect at this point in time. St. Louis doesn't make it, which I can't remember if this is this or the testing the draft one that they made it the first 2 years. I think it's this one. But there, I guess Nashville would be a bit of a surprise, because you'd expect Stamkos, Yossi, Marchessault to be a little bit older there. But everybody else, pretty much who you expect to be in the playoffs. So let's get to the end of the playoffs, see who lifts the Stanley Cup, and then see what the draft lottery holds. The Stanley Cup champions are the Boston Bruins, defeating the Nashville Predators. So let's go ahead, sim to the draft, and see if we can get a little bit of draft god luck. Please, for the love of God, do not put me in the spot to draft Jackson Jacobson again. Oh no, 7th and 14th. Welp, we got some work cut out for us. Is that actually the spot to draft Jacobson again? View retired players. Accidentally clicked on that, but I don't believe we have anybody actually retiring. We don't have anybody old enough. Maybe Huberto. Please, God, get him out of here. Evgeny Malkin is now a coach. Interesting. So let me continue simming here. We'll get up to the draft. And then I want to take a look at the draft class. Unfortunately, we miss out on the first overall pick, who is a medium franchise offensive defenseman, Landon DuPont. I want to say this is a real person. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below if that's a real person. Ooh, okay, just before our pick, which kind of sucks because he put up an insane amount of goals in the WHL, so it's projecting us to take Wesley Stanton. Doesn't look like a terrible player. Solid skill assessment there. Offensive defenseman as well, so we'll definitely have a choice to make. No information on Marku Asplund for whatever reason. We have 2 scouts in the SHL, but I guess neither of them wanted to do anything for us there. Tony Ruutu. Another offensive defenseman, not better than the other guy we'd be looking at. Tate Zancanaro. He'd go nice with Matt Coronado on that top line, but it does not look like we'll be taking him. Looks like our choice is going to be set. Now let's take a look. Well, we had the 17th as well, so any studs here? I did have one guy pinned, Nicholas Vikingstad. What was our... Oh, the NLA. Okay, that's fine, that's fine. We didn't have a ton of time to scout there either. This is a guy I've been looking at too. Cage Smith, very cool name. 2 years away. Rod Brindamore, similar style. Terrible skating, though, so we'll see about him. Bloomqvist, I think, was a guy. Let's see, do we have the stud at the back end of the draft scouted? This is a little pre-draft episode, so you'll see what you have to look forward to in the next one. Not looking like a very solid draft class. Ooh! OC McIntyre, not too shabby there. 2 years away, medium top 6 potential, left wing sniper, and we need goals, but he's only scored 18 goals with the WHL team, the Spokane Chiefs, I want to say. I'm going to guess there. But guys, that's going to be the end of this video. Obviously, a very disappointing season. We got a lot of work to do on this team still. It's going to be an interesting draft. I don't really think we have a lot of players to move on from right now. Trading Capo Caco, trading Blake Coleman in the middle of the season there. I mean, I still feel like we're probably 2-3 years away from even competing for a cup spot, but we'll see. Maybe free agency will give us a guy that we can go after, but that's the end of this one. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts on the video below. Maybe give me some insight into what you're thinking in terms of what we might be able to do with this team going forward, and then make sure to subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. That's the end of the video, guys. Have a great day. Peace.